every revolution, there's one man with a vision.
Hey everybody, Steve here. If you like comic books and you read comic books, especially, Marvel and DC, or you used to read them, you're going to be in one of two camps. You're going to be in the, hey, everything is garbage these days, and nothing can bring them out of this garbage. Comic books are about to die. Or you are in the comic books have never been better, and they're the best they've ever been. And anybody who thinks otherwise is a moron. Well, I guess I'm a moron because I'm in the other camp. I'm in the nothing can bring comic books back camp. I thought about this, and I thought, how can we reboot comics to help? And I went to the wisest sage of our day, ChatGPT. And I asked ChatGPT, give me 10 ways a comic book company could reboot their universe for newer readers and still keep its continuity for older fans. Now, it gave me 10 ideas, and we're going to discuss them. Let's go. Number 1, soft reboot with legacy characters. Introduce new characters who take on the mantles of classic heroes while the original heroes remain part of the universe, either as mentors or supporting characters. Yeah, that's not going to work. All New, All Different Marvel did that. All the legacy characters had their powers taken from them, stripped, given to unworthy characters, and that was an unmitigated disaster. It was terrible. They corrected it, but not soon enough. Damage was done, and that won't work. So it gets a no. Number 2, alternate universes. Utilize the concept of multiverses to create a new starting point in an alternate universe, allowing readers to follow fresh story, blah, blah, blah. Alternate universes and multiverses are what got these guys into the problems they're in now. How many crises did DC have that they had to keep, crisis on? How many different Infinite Earths did they have to do? Oh, again, time and time again, just to try to get everything back together. What was it? Was it 9-10 years ago now? Marvel did their Secret Wars to try to consolidate their universe, try to make it just one timeline, and they're not learning. They're going right back to their old ways. Marvel rebooted the Ultimate Universe. DC is making their own Ultimate Universe, and they have their Dark Universe where all the evil Batmen came from. Alternate universes, not a good way to reboot a universe. Sorry. Number 3. Number 3 has hope, but not for a reboot. Flashbacks and origin stories. You can launch a new series that delve into the origins and early adventures of established characters, providing a fresh entry point for new readers without altering existing continuity. Yeah, you could do this to bring in new readers, to have do it with an annual. You have annuals. Do they still have annuals? Annuals. And you have a Spider-Man annual and a Captain America annual and a Hulk annual. And in these annuals, it's a one-off adventure, not connected to their main timeline. And you can have them fighting a bad guy or stopping something evil. And in doing so, they remember something going back to their past. You can then do the flashback. And not a flashback to their origin. Everybody knows their origins. Have it be a couple days after. Have Spider-Man a couple days after he got bit. Trying to, deal with his new powers and his old life and have it crash together. And how it's just causing problems for him and how he has to overcome that. Or how Captain America has to reacclimate himself to this whole new world that he was unfrozen into. And then towards the end of the book, you come out of the flashback, with the memory of what they wanted to remember, and they use that to stop the bad guy. It gives the new readers a jumping on point. They know where this character came from, why they're this way, and older fans get to relive some history. It's great. It's a good idea, but it's not a reboot, so it only gets half a point. Half a point. Generational shift. Have you used ChatGPT before? It has a tendency to repeat itself. I'm not worried about AI taking over anything because AI is basically garbage. It just spits out whatever's already created. It'll take things from here, reshuffle it, and hand it back to you. It has no soul. So when you ask it to come up with a list, a lot of times it just reiterates and copies itself. Generational shift, it's just like the soft reboot. So, sorry. Number 5, time travel events. Time travel events cause multiverses. Multiverses, we already said, don't work. Let's move on. 6, rebranding and renumbering. Well, we all know how much Marvel loves to pull out the number ones. I mean, they'll renumber any comic they can to get a number one. It's like they have this big stamp. It's like, hey, Spider-Man, it had 3 issues. Let's give it a number 1. Let's do it. New number 1s, again, might be good for new readers, but it's not a reboot. It doesn't do anything. So, rebranding and renumbering, not a good thing. Number 7, streamlined retcons. Make selective retcons that simplify complicated histories without completely erasing past events, thus making the storyline more accessible while preserving key elements for older fans. Does anybody remember the New 52? Didn't they do that with the New 52? They took all their heroes, stripped them of all their history, put them back in year 1. Batman's still Batman. Green Lantern's still Green Lantern. But when Green Lantern sees Batman, he doesn't recognize Batman. As a matter of fact, he thinks he's surprised to see Batman because he thinks he was just a myth. And then what happened? They had to redo the whole number. They had to redo it anyway. They had to reboot the reboot. So these streamlined retcons, no, that it didn't work before. Can it work if you stick to it? Maybe, but in this instance. Number 8, miniseries and one-shots. That's just a repeat of number 3. 9, focus on core themes. Return to the core themes and tones that made the original stories popular. That's just a rehash of number 7. And number 10, unified narrative across media. When the MCU came out, they got their inspiration from the comic books. And then once the movies started getting popular, the comic books started getting their inspiration from the movies. Kids were going and seeing Chris Pratt as Star-Lord in the movies. They'd go into the comic book store, buy a Guardians of the Galaxy comic book, open it up, and there's a character that looks like Chris Pratt. No, it's not the way it should be. Comic books should not be taking their inspiration from movies. Especially, you can't reshuffle the deck to try to make the movies and the TV shows and the comic books all line up. That's not a reboot. That's not going to... It's destroying the continuity for the older fans. And it's just making it easier for the casuals to come in and pick up a comic, and they're probably not going to want to really read much anyway. Because they're only here because they saw the movies. They're not really interested in the books. So what have we learned? We've learned that ChatGPT gives garbage advice. As a matter of fact, we have a whopping 1/2 out of 10 when it comes to ways to fix the comic book universe. Let me know. Do you guys have any good ideas on how to reboot a comic book universe and bring in new readers but not disenfranchise the old ones? I'd love to hear it. I'm just, who knows? Maybe we can come up with something and, remake the comic book industry and we'll all be millionaires. Who knows? That's all I got.